Hello! Welcome back to my channel. Now I feel like it's been a hot minute, but I think that's just because I'm pretty organised with my videos now, so it feels like I filmed ages ago. Anyway, today's video are reasons why you can lose your period. Now I think there's this misconception, and I think there is definitely kind of like a bit of a divide at the minute with, just from what I've seen, or maybe just from the accounts that I follow on social media, there's a clear divide about the fitness industry that is very much like go, go, go. And then there's the other side, which is like the whole like intuitive eating thing. And I feel like I don't fit in either boxes. I feel like I sit very much in the middle of, I think that we should exercise, and if you have an aesthetic goal and you're healthy in every other aspect of your life and you're doing it for the right reasons, fine. But then I'm also on the side of like, but you don't need to have abs. Like, there is so much more to life than abs. And if that is your goal, I think it's important to ask yourself why that's your goal. And what are you going, and looking at your life as a whole, what are you going to lose in your life if you were going for abs? Because out of experience, it's very, very difficult to enjoy Christmas while trying to get abs. And I spent years putting myself on a Christmas shred that I would actually challenge myself to do it over Christmas so I wouldn't overeat. So I just think, yeah, so anyway, I feel like I'm sat in the middle, and I feel like that's quite common. I feel like there's a lot of us out there that's like, well, I don't want to go one way and just eat what I want and not move my body because I'm intuitive. And then there's the other side, but I'm very aware that I'm pretty addicted to fitness and I've spent years trying to get abs and I'm miserable and that hasn't worked for me. So where? And the answer is, actually, you don't have to fit into a box. You can float between the two. Exactly that has spurred me on for this video, because I think there's a misconception that you don't have to be completely obsessed with exercise to lose your period, and you don't have to have the extremities, obvious extremities should I say, to have health implications on your lifestyle. And I think that is where I feel like the lines are a little bit blurred. The fitness industry very much are talking to the people and assuming people don't do any exercise. So they're talking to the people that potentially eat quite a lot of takeaways or eat a lot of chocolate continuously, and their diet is pretty like full of shit and their life is pretty sedentary. So you've got that side, and then you've got the other side that is like athlete vibe, and it's like, well, what about these people in the middle? And then, like I said, you've got the self-love, intuitive eating, then you've got the whole like fitness go, go, go side, and it's like, what about these people in the middle? And there is obviously, markets to succeed have to have niches, right? I talk about periods, I'm talking about a very niche amount of us that have gone through this, but there is that element of like, okay, we've left the fitness industry side behind, as in like the fitness obsessed side behind. Like, it doesn't sit right with me, the whole I'm just going to move my body when I feel like it, because I know that actually sometimes I don't feel like it, but it will make me feel better. What about us lot in the middle? And that is where I think the lines are blurred. So I wanted to do a video on like why you can lose your period, and also like just these people in the middle, because there are so many different areas of your life that can improve. There's so many reasons why you're not completely full of energy, or you don't have a period or something like that, but you're not one of the extremes. So you're not the person that doesn't get off the sofa and eats for 50,000 takeaways a week, but you're also not the fitness obsessed. There's like this people in the middle, and I kind of feel like that's where I fit right now, because I do eat what I want. I mostly eat like relatively good for me because I know what makes me feel good and what feels shit. I do move not obsessively anymore, yet I haven't had a period. And I feel like I am in that middle now. I don't fit in one of those camps. If you suffer from hypothalamic amenorrhea, which is loss of period due to your hormones being a little bit more messed up, I say more messed up because our hormones always fluctuate. There are obviously other reasons, which could be pregnancy, it could be PCOS, endometriosis, those kind of things. And if that is the case, then I would always recommend going to see your doctor or a healthcare professional that can rule out anything, I want to say more serious. HA is pretty serious. It can lead to like long-term implications like osteoporosis and heart conditions and stuff. And obviously we always want to have a healthy cycle. We don't actually know I think research is very limited about the long-term effects of HA. If you've ruled all of that out and now you do have HA, now hypothalamic amenorrhea, I have done a video previously on it, is where the signal in your hippocampus, I think that's what it's called, isn't working properly. It doesn't have enough energy to be able to like switch on and basically tell our bodies to ovulate and to kickstart those kind of hormones. Now, why that can be switched off is because of our cortisol levels and low energy availabilities. Now, our cortisol level is our stress hormone, which can be triggered at any point. It can be triggered by coffee, because that's a stimulant. It could be triggered by a stressful time at work. It could be triggered by heartbreak, someone saying something horrible to you, someone rejecting you, a loud bang. Those sorts of things can all stimulate cortisol, which we've noticed, right? A lot of us have been through a stressful situation, especially throughout this whole time. And what you notice is there'll be some characteristics you deal with excessive cortisol slightly differently. So some people might, for example, completely lose their appetite. Some people might emotionally eat. Some people might lash out. Some people might just cry, that kind of thing. And actually, I'm just going to go on a tangent quickly. There is something that they say called a stress cycle, and they're saying that it's really important to complete the stress cycle. So if you have a stressful situation and then you react to it, it's really important that you kind of like get it out of your system. So you could do things like dancing, meditation, a bath, a run, that kind of thing. Whatever kind of like helps you like get out of that mindset is talking about like completing the stress cycle. However, unfortunately, we don't kind of live in a lifestyle that helps us complete the stress cycle that much. We go from one stressful thing to the other, or one stimulation to the other. We're finding now as well that like social media can stimulate cortisol. You're feeling like you're comparing, and it can be quite stressful on the body. Like a shitty night's sleep can cause higher rises in cortisol. Then it leads on to like our diet as well. If you're dieting, so you're in a calorie deficit for a sustained quite a long time, that raises our cortisol. So any deficit in the body is you're basically not providing the body with the amount of energy it needs to stay at that particular activity level and weight and lifestyle. If you reduce that, it's in a slight deficit. So it can cause like a rise in cortisol, and if you do it for a sustained amount of time and in a drastic amount of time, so you're drastically reducing your calories and you're dieting for a long time, that can really increase your cortisol. And then you've got the flip side, which is the exercise. If you are exercising, horrendous exercise is a stress on the body. So obviously you have things like walking and restorative yoga, which doesn't tend to be as stressful on the body. However, if it's causing extreme low energy availability, it can cause stress on the body. And you also haven't rested enough. Magpie, oh, what's he got in his mouth? Bread. But you've also got the extremities of exercise, weightlifting, running, that kind of thing. It is a stress on the body, and if we don't recover properly, it's going to keep that stress and our cortisol raised. If we have our cortisol raised for a long amount of time, it will interfere with the communication of the hippocampus, which can tell our bodies to ovulate. And that is why anyone at any size in any stressful lifestyle can lose their period. You don't have to be addicted to exercise. You don't have to be a serial dieter. Now, the thing is as well, oh, it's the same magpie. And the thing as well is that if you might have the right amount of calories, say, or you might have reduced your exercise, but if you're not giving it the types of energy that it needs, for women especially carbohydrates, if you're restricting that, you're reducing the amount of energy that the body receives. So a low carb diet can cause quite a lot of stress on the body. A low fat diet can interfere with how our hormones are produced, and a low protein diet can obviously affect like our bone health and things like that. So if you're suffering from HA, another problem with that is with the high cortisol, it also can interfere with our bone density and stuff. So you want to be making sure that you have such a huge amount of diverse ranges of food, as well as the amount of calories. And once you've kind of nailed the whole reducing the exercise, if that is in your camp, making sure you are fueling enough, it's having that diversity, and then looking at your life as a whole. I think I'm just saluting the same magpie now. Looking at your life as a whole, I'm getting so distracted by the birds, of how stressful are you? Because a high achieving woman in a corporate world can lose their period, but potentially even be overweight. It might just be down to the amount of stress that's going through her body. And I think that is the key thing to take home, or what I'm trying to get from, no, there's definitely two Maggies, and the seagulls are trying to chase the Maggie and the crow. Oh my Christ, there is, right, basically a Maggie has a bit of bread, the seagulls have seen, and the crow have seen that the Maggie has the bread, and now everyone's going, I don't know why he's not just, it's a big bit of bread to be fair, but he might as well just eat it. And now the crow doesn't know whether to attack, and the magpie's just jumping from tree to tree. I'll show you. There's the magpie. You see him? Oh, you might have missed him. He's flown right over there. And now the crow's following him. Oh no, he's sat up there now. Whoa! Drama in nature, eh? I've completely lost where I was with that. Oh yeah. So you don't, what I was trying to say is you don't have to be really underweight. You don't have to be a fitness obsessed serial dieter to lose your period, and you don't have to have an eating disorder or extremities. It can just happen because of a stressful life that you're living at the minute. And I've kind of completely lost my way because of the bird saga. Why you would lose your period? Yeah, stress, basically. Now there's bloody hoo-ha going on in the car park. Anyway, I think I finished my rant. That is just a little video about why you could potentially lose your period, and that is, hold up, I've got another point. And that is why it's so important that when you do eventually get your period back, that you continue that low stress lifestyle. Once you've got your period back, you don't then go back into loads of exercise, back into trying to be a certain size, or back into a really, really stressful job. Or sorry, not that we can always help that, but it might be that we need to like reduce, like just constantly maintain and be very aware of how stressed we're feeling. Could it be that you skip your morning coffee because cortisol in the mornings are at a highest, so then adding a stimulant in it could spike us a little bit more? Making sure you're eating something first thing in the morning, because again, especially as a female, our cortisol is our highest in the morning. When you feed it after a fast, because you would have not eaten overnight, that's quite a stressful situation. Have some food so the body's like, okay, I've got some energy to cope. That is where I went wrong, in that I got through periods back and I went straight into, well, I started to pick up a few more projects, so I was doing quite a bit out of work, and I was exercising a little bit more, and I was probably restricting my food a little bit more, subconsciously, consciously, subconsciously, who knows, that it then caused my body to lose my period day again, because if you have suffered from it, you're probably a little bit more sensitive. I'm gonna shut up because now I'm just rambling, but that's my video about why you could potentially lose your period, and it doesn't always have to be the fitness obsessed or eating disorders that it could happen to. It could happen to us all if you are not focused on keeping your cortisol levels and your stress levels down. So I hope you found this video helpful. Sorry if I've rambled and you switched off by now, but if you haven't, please can you give it a like and a thumbs up. No, that's the same thing. A thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Consider subscribing to my channel anyway, because it really does help just me reach, what am I trying to say? Get my message out to more girls that need it, even if you haven't got anything from it. Anyway, shut up. I'll see you next week.